Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea and I have been selling on Etsy for 8 years. This YouTube channel is just where we talk about Etsy best practices, things you need to know, day in the life, basically all things Etsy. So if you are interested in that, you are in the right place. Today specifically, we are going to be answering a question that people love to ask. Everyone loves to talk about this. We are going to be answering how many Etsy listings should you have? Like I mentioned, this is a question that people literally love to ask. People love to debate over it, to argue over it. Everybody has a different answer. Like some sellers absolutely swear by that like precious 100 number. You need 100 listings. Some are like, I've made 6-figure incomes for 6 years in a row now and I only have 5 listings. People literally love to debate over this. There's some successful shops that I know that I buy stuff from all the time that literally have like thousands of listings. People love to debate this topic. That's what I'm trying to say. And so likely if you're here at this video, you are finding yourself wondering, how many do I need? Maybe you have been on the internet Etsy world and you're like, everyone's got opinions on this. And to be honest, I don't have a super strong opinion, but I am gonna go ahead and just give you some things to consider, talk about success on Etsy, kind of give you guys an answer of how many Etsy listings you should have. If you watched my secret to getting sales on Etsy video, you know that I don't personally believe that there is one thing that's gonna just catalyst you to the top of the algorithm and make your shop successful. I believe that successful shops are consistently doing work on all the things, like so many things. So if that is something that you are interested in, go ahead and watch that video, like the things that you need to be doing to be successful. But basically, I want to preface this video by saying I don't believe at all in any way, there's no data to back it up. Don't believe, in my opinion, if someone tells you that there is a number that you should hit and then you will be successful, run. They're lying. I do not believe that there's a number that you can hit, a magic number of listings to have where all of a sudden the algorithm's like, oh, that shop's legit, and they put you to the top. It's just not there. I know several successful shop owners with 20 listings and over 100 listings. I don't think the data is there. My shop specifically, we keep our listing count relatively low for how many listings you can have. We keep it relatively low. We keep it in the range of like 50 to 70. That is not counting each individual product that we have. It's counting duplicates as well. So like 50 to 70 total listings is usually the range that we keep at our shop. So now that we have gotten all of that out of the way, basically that a certain number of listings will not make you like skyrocket. There's no magic number. There's successful shops with all amounts of listings and how many listings we have. Let's get back to the question. How many listings should you have on Etsy? I think there are a few factors to consider. I'm going to talk about 3 just to consider before you actually make sure, put any sort of stress on yourself that you need 100 or 150 or you only need 10 before you even make up a number in your head, which I honestly don't even recommend. Let's talk about 3 factors to consider for your shop so that you can get a ballpark idea of how many listings you might want to have. The very first thing to consider is what kind of shop do you have? In my opinion, just broad, vintage, handmade, or digital. In my opinion, I find that it is the, I guess, expectation from customers or just the expectation from, I don't know, like all your competition will do it. Digital shops have more listings. And to be honest, it makes sense. There's a lot less cost associated with making a digital listing, which digital people don't come after me. There's a lot less tangible cost, or just is. I know that your time and talent is worth a lot of money and I'm not discounting that. I buy digital listings all the time. However, it's not like a thing where you have to buy something and then coordinate a photo shoot, all those sorts of things. It's just a little bit different. And so there definitely is the expectation that digital shops will have more listings. So if you're digital, you might want to consider having a lot more. If you're a physical product person, you might want to consider having less. It is definitely just the Etsy norm for digital shops to have more. If you are stuck and you don't know even like what the ballpark range is, look at your competition. See how much they have. Obviously, you will probably get answers all across the board. Like you will see people that have 5 in your niche and people that have hundreds in your niche. It's just how it is. Same for my niche. I'm in the embroidery niche on Etsy. Same for my niche. Tons of people have all different answers. Look for successful shops, see what they're doing. But it might also have nothing to do with the amount of listings that they have. And it might have everything to do with just 1 took off or 5 took off or 10 took off. And so just kind of scope out your competition, considering your shop. The first thing to consider is what you sell in competition in your niche. The second thing to consider, and this has nothing to do with Etsy SEO, but it is absolutely something to consider whenever you are running and choosing how many listings you should have. What is your capacity? More listings equals more work. It just does. If people try and tell you it doesn't, I have never found that to be true. I know that you can raise the prices. I know all that, but I personally do a listing refresh on all of my listings every year. I've not found a way to avoid it, especially with physical products, just because a lot of stuff changes. More listings equals more work, in my opinion, and it's definitely true for my own shop. And so you definitely want to consider what you have the capacity for whenever you are choosing how many listings you want. If you are someone who has quit your full-time to pursue your Etsy business and you want to work on your Etsy shop 40 hours a week, you will have a lot more capacity than someone, say a mom who just wants to bring in a side hustle and works on her Etsy shop 2 hours a day. You're gonna have roughly 30 hours more than the mom who wants to only spend 10 hours a week, right? So you have to consider your capacity. Do not overwork yourself. It's something that I have done, and like with trying to maintain this YouTube channel and bring education for you guys and my own shop, I definitely get caught in like the what every business should have like mindset, like how many Etsy listings I should have. Should every business have an email list? All those sorts of things. I get caught in that mindset whenever reality, like it doesn't fit my goal for my life to do that for certain things, to do certain things for my business. And this is listing count is definitely one of them where you just need to consider what is the goal for your Etsy shop? What is your capacity? How many hours do you want to spend? And how many listings can you list with that in mind? Do not forget to consider your capacity whenever you are choosing how many listings will be right for your shop and your lifestyle and business. Okay, the third thing to consider is something that I actually hinted at earlier, but make sure that you are comparing unique listings, unique products that you have created a whole new product for in duplicate listings. So duplicating listings is something that we talk about on this channel literally all the time. I have a whole video about it. I'll link it in the description. But basically it's a strategy in order to get more variations or more of your Etsy product out into the Etsy algorithm. And by we, I mean I swear by duplicating listings for Etsy. It is a very effective strategy in my opinion. So I definitely recommend duplicating listings, but make sure that you are considering that versus unique products in your listing count. When it comes to listing a brand new unique product, that is a much harder thing to do than just duplicate out a listing and list a new variation, or just duplicate a listing and change the thumbnail. So I talk about duplicating listings in that video, testing, all those sorts of things. But basically when I'm talking about a brand new unique product, you are going to have to like source that product, make the product for the first time, photograph the product, keyword the product, trend track the product. Basically there's a lot of research involved with listing a brand new, fully unique product to your shop, rather than just saying like, oh, this product is selling really well, let's go ahead and duplicate that out and photograph it in a different color, or photograph a different size, different model, different anything, different variation, just a different variation. Very different thing to consider. I am a huge fan, you hear on this channel all the time if you're a regular subscriber, of doubling down on what's already working. So I have shared the statistics before, but basically the majority of our orders, like the large majority of our orders during busy season, come from the same 5 listings. Like I said, I have 70. They come from the same 5 listings, aka these listings are selling over and over and over again. It is in my best interest to just duplicate those out, because that's an easy way to get more of that product that is clearly already proven in the marketplace out into the Etsy universe without having to dream up a whole new product, research a whole new product, source it, all those sorts of things. So definitely consider ways that you can duplicate out your current products rather than adding unique products if your capacity is low. Ways that you can do this is just different variations. If you're like me, like I'll take my business, for example, one of the more time-consuming, it's not really that time-consuming, obviously keyword research and trend tracking is the most time-consuming part of listing products in my shop, as it should be for like basically everyone's shop. But one of the things that really just I hate doing is making color charts. And so one thing that I can do in my own shop is if I have a blank, so say we were going to sell this t-shirt with a monogram on it, and I've already made the color chart for it. I've basically already made the listing. I've already added the variations. I've already added the material info. I can then duplicate out that listing, but make it with a collar monogram. Then all I have to change is the photo and the keywords. So that's just a way to add more products without having to do something fully unique. So think of ways that you can kind of spin off your current products and think of the things that are hard for you or just annoy you, you don't like doing whenever you are, that you don't like doing whenever you're making the listings, and think of ways that you can avoid those but still get duplicate listings. You can also just flat out, and I recommend it in that video, just duplicate out a listing with a brand new thumbnail, exact same product. If you scroll through our shop, you will see that a lot of our products are extremely similar, just duplicated listings. I don't know if that's like technical. Etsy would recommend doing that, like Etsy HQ, but I can just tell you that it does work very, very well. Myself and a lot of other sellers really do swear by duplicating listings. And so that is just something to consider as well whenever you're working on getting your listing count higher, just considering how many listings you could duplicate out, and just, yeah, basically making sure that you could finding ways that you could add new products without adding a ton of work into your life. Before we end this video, I did just want to share some tips for adding more listings. The first tip is never, ever, ever just add a listing for the sake of getting more listings. It's not worth it. I'm a firm believer that you would be better off to have 5 absolutely stellar listings and duplicate out those listings than 25 unique products but have meh listings. You are really going to want to, and this is a second tip, double down on all of those best practices that we talk about on this channel. So keywords, compelling listing photos, ship times, all of those things that we talk about on this channel, you are going to want to do, and then you'll have a really solid listing that'll bring in tons of sales. Like I said, we sell basically the same products over and over again, and that makes up the bulk of our revenue, especially during busy season, but also throughout the year. And so I'm just a firm believer that you are much better off, rather than trying to hit some magical number, much better off to get as good quality listings as possible in your shop, and that will do way more revenue, sales, profit-wise for you than just hucking up a bunch of listings and hoping that they stick. So that is my long-winded answer of how many Etsy listings should you have. If you came to this video just hoping for a magic number, I'm very sorry. It will never ever be that, because Etsy just takes some work. It is very possible. It is very doable, especially with the right strategies, but it does take work, and very rarely is there a magic answer that will solve all of your Etsy problems. I wish that was true, but there's not. So that is my long-winded answer. I do hope that this video was helpful as you try and just kind of dissect how many listings you want in your own shop, and now you have some factors to consider. If you are looking to grow on Etsy and grow your Etsy shop and talk about Etsy, make sure to hang out with me here and subscribe. That's what we talk about every single week. Thank you so much for watching.